Hammersmiths and space truckers, this is internet personality Vangelus, and my most anticipated figure from the first wave of Transformers Generations Age of the Primes was Deluxe Solus Prime, famously the female one, though thankfully her mythological role was shifted from sole progenitor of all super robot life form women to forge master of weapons and artifacts. That said, she also tends to famously hold the title of the one who gets killed first. At least as far as anybody knew when they wrote it down.
This video has been sponsored in part by ToyHacks.com, providing reproduction labels, full-scale upgrade sheets, and armory weapon packs since 1999. Enhance the 13 primes with copious flair and multiple option decals. Hacksing your toys supports the channel. Supporting the channel feeds the machine.
This iteration of Solus Prime is based heavily on her appearance in Machinima's Power of the Primes, and I can't remember anything that happened to her there other than dying. But leaving all that aside, the figure is very striking and blacksmithy, bearing regular bipedal proportions and big shoulder pads to go with her big anvil-smackin' apron. The color scheme's grape and gold with silver is a nice combo with plenty of contrast, though there are two levels of saturation to the purple that make things a bit patchwork to my naked eye. Solus Prime's green optics are a nice touch to her regal head design, which features a shortened approximation of the wire-like hair she sometimes bears in prior depictions. As an Age of the Primes Prime, Solus has a signature artifact as her sole accessory, the iconic Forge of Solus Prime, a big hammer. I like the design and really just wish it was bigger. The hammer separates into three pieces: the hammerhead, the shaft, and the purple nodule at the bottom. You do need to separate the shaft from the head to get it into either or both of her hands, but the little purple nodule is mostly a cute secret grenade thingy, while a secret grenade thingy with bonus 5mm lumps, which gives the Forge a very neat touch of
Evo Fusion!
Oh, also, the Forge has a little flip-out peg that can let you store it at a cool angle on her back, though the peg hole does sit very low compared to the usual backpack docking point. You love to see a neck ball joint that is just like loaded with range everywhere, even though it's also on a little flap that lets the up and down range go real wild if you really want to be staring at skyscrapers or whatnot. The shoulders, despite the big shoulder pads, are very easy to work with because the big shoulder pads figure arts it up classic style with like a hinge here and a hinge here. So you can move them around, you can have them do that for some reason. The main reasons to use both hinges is number one, the obvious one, but number two, you just want to tilt it down like that for swinging the arm forward. It's a bit easier. There's a bicep swivel, there's an elbow hinge. The wrists have a ball socket connection that affords them a wristy swivel, but also it's open here so you can swivel and point. A melee weapon of some sort, perhaps. A large forge hammer at folks who need to get parts of themselves caved in ethically. The waist cut works nicely despite having some backpack and some skirt, and the skirt can flap upwards, but it can also flap 1/3 up and 1/3 up, so you can just move up one part to go with whatever leg might be sticking forwards. Obviously, if you do this or that, looks kind of silly, so it will look best when it's working with poses that still have the thigh close to where this part of the apron is located. But there is also a thigh swivel up at the top here of the leg. You got a decent knee hinge, and like I said, if it's close to the thigh, I think that this looks fine. But if you're like doing an action pose where, you know, stuff is sticking upwards like this, it can start to look, unfortunately, very toy silly. The feet have a boot cut and an ankle tilt, and on mine, it works great. I am aware, however, that there are a non-zero number of these people have had where this mushroom peg falls apart all the time. Don't know what to tell you, Mine just works. Also, there's a hinge up here. Sorry, a hinge right here, which probably is helpful for some kind of pose. I just haven't had to use it yet, but I could see a use case for having a bit of sloped curvature down there in addition to the knee. I mean, I guess you could always do something like this and pretend that's a double hinge knee, even though it really isn't. So, on my copy, all this stuff works great, feels fine. On your copy, hopefully that's the case too. But if yours has, like, these things falling off or whatever, then I guess you do have to go in and start thickening the mushroom peg down in there, and I don't wish that upon any of you, unless you've crossed me. The general strokes of Solus Prime's transformation click with my taste, but I find it a touch too finicky in practice. There are plenty of tabs and slots, but they all demand a lot of specific pressure and order of operation, while rarely rewarding me with a satisfying flavor of tactile feedback. It's a shame, because all these locking points work wonders for making the eventual alt mode feel solid in hand. Also, at this point, I will point out that a lot of people have problems with too little shoulder panels falling off, or the feet dismounting from their own mushroom peg swivels. I, however, do not. Once in a blue moon, I lose maybe one shoulder panel, but it is very uncommon on my copy of the toy. I did nothing to modify the figure, so I don't know what to tell you other than I did a better job than most of you at buying a good one, I guess. In a world full of fall-apart Solus Primes, mine holds herself together almost effortlessly, so maybe try being more respectful to Robot Woman? Listen, I just dig robotic alleged demigods simply turning into space trucks, and I think this space truck mode is pretty solid, even if it has a lot more mass up front than in back. Like, she's clearly the progenitor of Springer's rear shriveled truck mode. Anyway, I know lots of people bounce off these kinds of modes, and I would accommodate you if it didn't inconvenience me, so go write a blog or something, I don't know, I'm not your mother. Aside from loving the hardcore angles up front, I'm also pleased by the godlike golden windshields and headlights, and the weaker rear section is hugely bolstered by the cool way the apron's center column flipped around to give it slightly more camouflage, ignore her thighs. With everything locked in place, Solus Prime rolls pretty well, ignore her thighs, and the small-scale contained play pattern of the Forge transfers to her alt mode as well. The hammerhead has a tab that locks into the slots behind the rear wheels, but you can really play around a little with how you arrange the 1 to 3 accessorized mountables available to you. Solus has remained a fun toy for me, very much in part because I got a good one. But she didn't wow me as hard as I'd hoped, very much in part because I spent a non-zero amount of time misremembering her as a Voyager until she was properly put up for pre-orders. And it probably would have helped her out, especially with the finicky transformation stuff, the size of the hammer, etc. I do think she's a solid little design, and I hope it's possible to fix up the lesser copies out there to be on par with my own. As one of the space truck demigods, she's definitely among my favorite of the Deluxe Age of the Primes, though, to spoil the outcome of future videos a little bit, I kinda dug all 4 of the Deluxes from the Pantheon now that they've all come out as of this recording. Anyway, this has been Internet Personality Vangelus, and my anvil bangs hot and hard, thanks in part to the stoking bellows of my Patreon patrons, YouTube members, and coffee baristas. As the old saying goes, keep it glowing and malleable.